Can you really be attacked psychically and magically? Hetepu fam, peace and blessings. This is Derric, RauKhu more. And in this video, I figure I'd go ahead and I'll answer a couple of questions, or a few questions that have always been posed to me. And I apologize to the individuals who sent me these questions for the delay. Just kind of was going ahead and just waiting. Like I said, got a lot of irons in the fire trying to go ahead and get some of those taken care of and everything. So this was on my next to-do list. So first of all, the question comes to mind, is black magic real? First of all, there's no such thing as white or black magic. And when you get involved in the occult and all that kind of stuff, you hear people go ahead and say that. You hear a lot of what I would say immature. This is not a put down, but this is basically letting you know they're beginners in this. But you see a lot of people, they'll say, okay, well, there's white magic and there's black magic. And like I said, when you go ahead and you get into it, to be honest with you, there's no such thing as white magic or black magic. Magic is just what it is, okay? It's like any other force of nature. It's a prime example is think of electricity. If someone goes ahead and they get shocked by electricity, you don't say, well, that was bad electricity, You just basically say, okay, well, yeah, they got shocked by electricity. Well, it's the same thing with magic, okay? If someone goes ahead and they benefit from it or they get harmed from it, it has nothing to do with it being black or white. It's just what it is, okay? Now, the other reason why there's no such thing as black magic and where that really comes from is that this was a term that I'm trying to put this in a historical context, based upon what I've read, based upon what I've learned. The term black magic, it stems from the word necro, okay? It actually stems from necromancy, okay? And necromancy basically deals with people who go ahead, or it's the art of going ahead and dealing with spirits, okay? People who went ahead and they dealt with spirits, they worked with the spirit guides, ancestors are included in that. They considered them to be necromancies or necromancers. Necromancers stems from the word negro, okay? And it actually was negro or negromancy, okay? And this is where they get the term black from. And most of the people who went ahead and they dealt with that, of course, they were, people of color, darker skinned people. And that's really where that term necromancy and necromancy and necromagic, eventually black magic, really comes from. So really it's more of a racist term, okay? And I've seen a lot of pagan people are starting to get away with that. They're trying to rid themselves of that so that they're not, and they basically understand it. And you'll see a lot of, if you go to a lot of these, a lot of the newer pagans, they're like, hey, yeah, we don't use those terms anymore. And that's part of the reason why, okay? Because like I say, yeah, there is really no such thing as black magic. And when you go ahead and you do the etymological research and the historical research on it, you find out where it basically comes from. And that's why a lot of people, they're getting rid of it, okay? Now, the next question that someone asked, or, I think this is basically from the same individual, was, have I ever been attacked? Have I ever been attacked, psychically and magically and what have you? And the answer to that question is, of course I have. Come on now. I mean, every time you go ahead and anytime you're doing something, you're trying to do something, someone's always going to attack you, okay? Now, in the sense of, has someone actually gone ahead and, done like a full-blown ritual and all that kind of stuff? It's possible. I don't really know if they have. But in regards to being psychically attacked and everything, yes, we are all psychically attacked. We're attacked all the time. Okay. The thing you have to remember, and this is what a lot of the horror industry, the film industry, and all that, what they try to, they try to spook people out of actually dealing with this. It takes a lot of energy in order for you to actually go ahead and to, what do you call it? In order for an individual to curse a person, okay? When I first started reading about this, when I first started learning about this, I came across individuals who had books. And if you go back and you look at any of these old books or anything that talk about, how to attack a person, how to hex a person, and all this other kind of stuff, it's not like a small little spell, okay? Most of these spells or most of these rituals, they're elaborate. It takes a lot of energy in order for you to, a lot of time and a lot of energy. And for the most part, just like it was explained to me, just like I was reading in a lot of these books, but like it was explained to me from several people, in which several mentors that I had came across, it takes a lot of energy in order for them to do that. It takes a lot of energy and a lot of time and energy, I should say. And for the most part, most people, they just don't have that, okay? And you always hear people say, "Oh, it takes a lot of energy." And what I mean by that is this: most of us who are in our, how do you put it? And again, I'm not trying to be facetious when I'm saying this, but most of us, if we're in our right mind, when we go ahead and we get upset, when we get angry at an individual, we get angry, and we're angry with that individual. And for the most part, we're angry with that individual for what? Maybe 15 minutes, okay? That's on the average, okay? And I'm saying, like I said, most people, that's what happens. You get angry, it's almost like, you're driving or so and you get cut off. You get angry with that individual, and you might even flip the individual off. Hopefully you don't, but I'm just saying, you might flip the individual off. But after the situation is over with, you're through with it, okay? So all your anger, basically, that fire basically, it rose up, and then as soon as that situation was over with and everything, it dissipated, it's gone. You're finished with it, okay? When an individual needs to go ahead and they're going to curse an individual, they have to go ahead and maintain that anger. And you're talking about maintaining that anger, that emotional energy. You're talking about maintaining that and like I said, in average, most people go ahead and they keep that anger for about 15 minutes at the most. But in order for an individual to go ahead and curse an individual, okay, they have to go ahead and maintain that anger for we're talking at least about 3 hours, okay? And that's the reason why a lot of people, they don't have the energy to do that, okay? This is also the reason why when you come across different, occult books or whatever, they'll tell you, if you are doing this, it's only when it's justified, okay? And that's basically a little caveat, a little clause that they put in there, basically meaning that you're maintaining that energy for a long time. You're maintaining that anger for a long time, okay? Because if you maintain that anger for 3 hours, at least 3 hours, then, for the most part, you're really upset. You are really angry, and you're trying to go ahead and you want to take that energy and you want to channel it somewhere, okay? And you're trying to get rid of this energy. And that's the reason why you're holding on it for so long. So, like I said, most people, they don't do that. Most people, they don't have the time to do that. They don't have, hell, it takes it's hard enough for most of us just to go ahead and be able to meditate for 30 minutes, okay? And God forbid, if you put a family in there, you got a family, Like myself, I have a family and everything. It takes a while for us to go ahead and just to go ahead and set aside time just to deal with your own, your own things, your things regarding your spiritual growth. So an individual who goes ahead and they're going to put forth some energy to go ahead and curse somebody, it's most likely it's not going to happen. Okay, I'm not saying it's not going to happen at all. I'm just saying most likely it doesn't occur. All right. Now, usually what happens, okay, you will get a little bit of what do you call it? You don't get a full blown quote unquote, like I said, the quote unquote evil rituals or whatever, in which somebody is just burning stuff and all that kind of stuff for you. Most people they don't have time to do that. What they will do, on the other hand, is you might get a little psychic attack here and there, okay? And you might get like a little curse here and there, And for the most part, usually, based upon what I've experienced with people, when I felt something coming on me, and from individuals I knew, okay, yeah, this individual, they did this to me, because of X, Y, Z. Usually when that kind of stuff happens, you get, like I say, you get like little psychic attacks and all that kind of stuff. But we're all psychically attacked. You're attacked whenever you watch TV, okay? Because if you're going ahead and you have a certain mindset to do something, and something comes at you, and it sways your opinion, it sways your way in which you're thinking or whatever, you're basically being attacked. It's a form of mind control. All right. You're attacked every time you go into a grocery store if you don't have your mind right. Okay. And basically what I'm getting at is that for the most part, most psychic attacks, okay, most little psychic attacks that come at us, they are basically geared towards our vices, our conditionings. Okay. For instance, if there's an individual that basically that they smoke a lot. Okay, they smoke cigarettes. All right, and they smoke these cigarettes and all that kind of stuff, but they're annoying. Okay, and I mean to the point that they leave the cigarette butts all over the place. And what do you? I mean, you just think of anything similar to that. In which someone goes in here and they just are annoying you. Okay. If the attack basically was made on that individual, it's going to be geared towards, oh my gosh, I sure wish this individual would stop going ahead and smoking. I hope they choke, blah, 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 blah. That's how people go ahead and they send forth that little psychic attack. Okay. And what ends up happening is that eventually, if it pierces through, if that individual has like a weak, what do you call it? If they have like more a weak aura because they have poor diet, they're not really into anything spiritual. I mean, we go through the whole list of things. I have to make a video on all those things. But if you go through all these list of things, and this is what causes them, they have a real weak spiritual frame. Then that type of attack will eventually go ahead and cause that individual to eventually have problems. Okay. And that's what I'm saying. Most psychic attacks, they're geared towards your conditionings. They're geared towards your habits. Okay. They basically come at you that way. The way to avoid those type of attacks, I don't think there really is a way to avoid them. Okay. If somebody knows something different, let me know. But I don't think you can avoid those type of attacks because because people are people. Unfortunately, most people are not even in the divine mindset. They're not trying to be divine or anything. They're not trying to be spiritual. So, you're always going to come across people who are going to be jealous of you. You're always going to come across people who's not going to like what you do. You can try to be the best individual there is. You can be the most charitable individual there is, and somebody still is not going to like you. Okay, so you'll still get that kind of psychic attack. So, like I said, for that matter, all you can do is go ahead, do I don't want to say daily. Some people do daily, but do a weekly cleansing to go ahead and remove that negative energy from you, and so that it doesn't eventually start affecting your thoughts and your ideas, and eventually your health. Okay. Let's see. The other question. Another question that kind of deals with this. Most of the time, in order to avoid, what do you call it? In order to get over, I should say, in order to get over these type of psychic attacks or so, the way to get over it is, this is the reason why you get involved in spirituality. Okay, this is one of the reasons why you get involved in spirituality. So using an individual who, has a smoking, habit, if they're overcoming their smoking habit, or they try their best to go ahead and overcome their smoking habit to the point that they overcome it, that attack no longer it's no longer warranted. It no longer affects them because they've overcome it. Okay. And that's usually, like I said, that's usually how the little psychic attacks occur. The other thing is, what about cursing? Yep, that was the other question. What about hexes and so? Have I ever been, that was the other question, have I ever been, someone else, they've asked, have I ever been cursed or have I ever been hexed? Kind of going along with what I was saying before in regards to being magically attacked. Most people, when it happens, you don't really know it happens and all that kind of stuff. You can kind of tell, you can feel something's off. But most hexing or most curses that I've come across, not really curses, but hexes, are self-inflicted. Okay. Which goes back to what I was saying before about your conditionings and, things in which you've gone through. But most of them, they're self-inflicted. Okay. I always tell that one story and this is because, and I think a lot of times we end up having these situations that occur in our life until we go ahead and we get one that sticks. And I always tell this one story of how I went ahead and the first car I purchased, okay, very first car I purchased, went ahead and I was happy to get the car and all that kind of stuff. I had been saving up all this money to go ahead and buy this car. And when I got the car and everything, I went to the dealership, went ahead and paid for the car and everything, got my, paperwork and all that kind of stuff. But I got the car on Thursday, and Friday I got paid. So Friday I was going to go ahead. I thought I had enough money, but I didn't have enough money to go ahead and get insurance. So Friday I was like, okay, as soon as Friday comes, as soon as I get off work, I'm going to go ahead and get insurance. All right. And went ahead and I got the car and everything, drove to work, came back and everything. And what I'm thinking is, oh, I sure hope, I don't get in an accident. Sure, God knows, I really hope I don't get in an accident. And lo and behold, on my way back to work, on my way from work, onto the insurance company, okay, it's raining. I look in the rearview mirror and I see this, I basically see this young Marine, he's driving this pickup. He's going too fast. We're trying to exit off the ramp, and he's going too fast. And you see his pickup, his fishtailing and everything. And cocked my wheel because I knew it was going to happen. As soon as I cocked my wheel to kind of, so I don't hit all the other people in front of me, I get hit. Okay. And I got in, totaled the car. All right. I mean, just completely totaled the car. All right. Now, could I say that I went ahead that was bad luck? Yeah, I could say that. Okay. But here is basically that law of attraction that is being put forth. I went ahead and I really, really, really did not want this to happen. I really, really, really did not want to get into an accident. And I got into an accident. And this basically, what that showed me was that the universe, if you want to say that, I prefer to say the spirits, they don't look at things that way. They don't look at things from our perspective. They don't understand, or the universe doesn't understand that negation. It doesn't understand I don't want, okay? And this is what happens. You attract that stuff to you. So I think a lot of times when it comes to like I said, a lot of curses or what have you, most curses, most hexes, in my opinion, based upon what I've seen and every time I come across others and I see how they're going through certain things, and I'm like, but you said it, it's always self-inflicted. It's usually self-inflicted. And again, this is the reason why, this is one of the main reasons why you get involved in spirituality, because you're trying to develop that divinity. You're trying to develop your divinity so that you don't, as a god and a goddess, you speak certain things into fruition, but it's not by accident that you're doing it. It's not by happenstance that you're doing it. The creator, if you think of it from this perspective, our creator didn't do things happenstance, by happenstance or by accident. Everything had a purpose. And this is one of the things that we're supposed to be learning in this while we incarnate. We're supposed to go ahead and learn how to do these same things. We're speaking things in fruition. We want certain things to occur in fruition, but we want it to occur with a purpose. Okay. And that's part of the reason why we're here. All right. So next, I just wanted to go ahead and just wanted to answer those questions. Didn't want to go ahead and make a 45-minute, hour-long video or so about this. There's a few questions that are still that I'm going to answer, but I'll answer this on a separate post. And that's, for the most part, that's pretty much it. Hopefully that's helpful. If you got any questions, any suggestions, comments, or any of that, as always, just go ahead and drop me a line. It might take a little minute for me to get to you. I might be researching it for you as well, but I'm gonna go ahead and I'll get to you. Other than that, until next time, thanks again. Thanks for comments, suggestions, and questions, and thanks for your donations. Until next time, Hetepu. Peace. Get out of here.